Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Hello, Catholic pilgrims, and welcome to day 346 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. We often read in the Gospels of how the Pharisees and scribes are trying to ensnare Jesus in some way. They think they've come up with a clever trap and they're really going to catch him saying something wrong, but because Christ is God and he's all wisdom, they can't ever really ensnare him. And so Sister Faustina is going to talk today about the snares that people lay for her soul, but we can think about it, the snares that people lay for our souls as well, especially as Christians. And it reminded me of some verses that I recently read in Luke, and so that's what we're going to talk about today in Notebook 6, numbers 1723 through 1728. When the soul of a certain young lady came to me one night, she made me aware of her presence and made known to me that she needed my prayer. I prayed for a while, but her spirit did not leave me. Then I thought to myself, if you are a good spirit, leave me in peace, and the indulgences I will gain tomorrow will be for you. At that moment, the spirit left my room, and I recognized that she was in purgatory. Today, I felt the Lord's passion in my body more than at any other time. I felt this was for the sake of a dying soul. Today, the Lord has been teaching me, once again, how I am to approach the sacrament of penance. My daughter, just as you prepare in my presence, so also you make your confession before me. The person of the priest is for me only a screen. Never analyze what sort of a priest it is that I am making use of. Open your soul in confession as you would to me, and I will fill it with my light. Christ and Lord, you are leading me over such precipices that when I look at them, I am filled with fright, but at the same time, I am at peace as I nestle close to your heart. Close to your heart, I fear nothing. In these dangerous moments, I act like a little child carried in its mother's arms. When it sees something which menaces it, it clasps its mother's neck more firmly and feels secure. I often see snares laid for me by souls who should not do so. I do not defend myself, but entrust myself all the more to God, who sees within me. And I see how these souls become entangled in their own snares. O God, how just and good you are. Right. I am thrice holy, and I detest the smallest sin. I cannot love a soul which is stained with sin, but when it repents, there is no limit to my generosity toward it. My mercy embraces and justifies it. With my mercy, I pursue sinners along all their paths, and my heart rejoices when they return to me. I forget the bitterness with which they fed my heart, and rejoice at their return. Tell sinners that no one shall escape my hand. If they run away from my merciful heart, they will fall into my just hands. Tell sinners that I am always waiting for them, that I listen intently to the beating of their heart. When will it beat for me? Write that I am speaking to them through their remorse of conscience, through their failures and sufferings, through thunderstorms, through the voice of the church. And if they bring all my graces to naught, I begin to be angry with them, leaving them alone and giving them what they want. So I want to focus on number 1727. Here Sister Faustina says, I often see snares laid for me by souls who should not do so. I do not defend myself, but entrust myself all the more to God, who sees within me. And I see how these souls become entangled in their own snares. O God, how just and good you are. Now, I think all of us as Christians have experienced these snares before. I'll give you a good example. My friend that I've talked about who became an atheist, one time she was talking about how Christians need to give more. They should give more. You're all about giving, and basically we should all be penniless because we've given everything away. To which I said to her, we do give a lot. Christians are the most giving group of people out there. And it's not even a contest. When something bad happens, Christians are the ones that respond with money and time and all of those things. And so then she quickly turned it around. She's like, oh, yeah, but when you guys give, you're just doing it because you want to give to make your God happy. But when I give, it's just because I want to do the right thing. I don't have to make a God happy. I'm not trying to make him like me or love me and trying to make him see me. And it was like, okay, then I can't win. Because over here on the one side, you're saying Christians need to give more. And then I say, well, we do. And then she turns it around and says, oh, well, the only reason you're giving, it's not real, it's not authentic. You're just doing it to make God see you. So might as well not give at all. It's like, well, which one do you want? Do you want us to give or not? And it was all a trap. It didn't matter what I was going to say. It was a trap and a snare laid in order to just lash out at me. And I should have just realized it, but I didn't. And I was trying to defend, but there was nothing I was ever going to be able to say. This all reminds me of something I recently read in the book of Luke. It's also in Matthew, and I want to read it to you now, and then we'll talk about it. So this is Jesus talking to a large group of people, and I think the Pharisees and the scholars and everybody are around, and he's been, kind of calling them out about how they've treated John the Baptist and how they look at him. And so he says in chapter 7, verses 31 through 35, then to what shall I compare the people of this generation? What are they like? They are like children who sit in the marketplace and call to one another. We played the flute for you, but you did not dance. We sang a dirge, but you did not weep. For John the Baptist came neither eating food nor drinking wine, and you said, he is possessed by a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and you said, look, he is a glutton and a drunkard and a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is vindicated by all her children. So what does this mean? What I think Jesus is getting at is he's saying, there's nothing that John the Baptist or I could ever do to convince you, because you've already got it in your mind that we're up to no good. And so no matter what we do, you're going to find a reason not to like us or follow us or listen or whatever. Here he says, John the Baptist came and he wasn't drinking or eating because he was always fasting. And to the Pharisees and the scholars and everything, they're like, oh, this guy, he's fasting. He's not eating or drinking. How odd. Well, it must be demonic. So that was their reasoning for that. And then Jesus comes, and Jesus is eating and drinking. The exact thing they want John the Baptist to do. So Jesus is doing that. And then they're like, oh, gluttony. Just dining with sinners. Just a drunkard. And so with Jesus, they don't want him to eat or drink. They want him to be like John. But this is all just a snare. It's all just a trap. They have no real qualms with what either man is doing. They just don't want to like them, and so they're going to find anything. They don't want to see who John is. They don't want to see who Jesus is. And so they're just putting up wall after wall after wall. And honestly, there's nothing that Jesus or John could do to convince them, because they want to think of them in a bad way. And so they're just not ever going to win with these guys. They're just not. And so Jesus says to them, but wisdom will be vindicated by all her children. Now, in Matthew's gospel, it reads a little differently. It says, but wisdom will be vindicated by her works. And what I think is being said here is Jesus is wisdom itself, because he's God, and John was a prophet, and so he had a lot of wisdom. And I think what is being said is, don't try to defend yourself. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to defend myself, because there's nothing I could ever say, because you're always going to try to entrap me. But I will prove who I am through my works. And down the line, you're going to see that, and you're going to understand. And wisdom is going to kind of hit you in the face. My good works will vindicate me. They will show who I am. There's nothing that you can do to take that away. And so Sister Faustina here even says, and I see how these souls become entangled in their own snares. And really, that's what happened. I mean, kind of how many times does Christ put them in their place? Not because he really defends himself, but because he just knows exactly what to say because he's God. And then they just kind of sit there and walk away dumbfounded. He does it all the time. I mean, when he draws the line in the sand and when he talks about give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's, they always come to him thinking, we've got him now. And the ultimate victory is they think they've got him when they kill him on the cross, but they just don't realize who they're dealing with. And so it's something good for us to remember. It's so natural to want to defend ourselves, especially when it comes to things of the faith. And we should defend the faith and we should defend God. But sometimes with our, actions, if we're doing good works or if we're trying to be a better Christian, people will try to set snares. And there's no way we can win. And so we just have to let our good works prove out. And that's about all we can do. And deep down, those people that are trying to ensnare us, they will see the truth. They may never admit to it, but they'll see it and they'll know. So that is all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you back here for day 347. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.